Hi, my name is Ava Plesher, and I will be interviewing my mom about my grandfather, William Hoffman, who is no longer with us. Can you describe his early life, like where he grew up?
My dad was a second-generation American of German Austrian descent, and he was born in 1924 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Are there any events that stand out during those years?
Well, a really sad story. When my dad was walking to elementary school with his sister, a car hit his sister and she died in front of him.
Where did he go to school, and what stories do you remember during those years?
My dad attended Roosevelt Elementary School, then Washington High School, both in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My dad was born into wealth, and he had a cook and a maid. He was young when the Depression hit, but his family lost a lot of money during those times, and he remembers his family's paintings and furniture being sold. Papa had to start over, and he made money building homes, but they made it through the tough times.
After high school, what did he do next?
After high school, my dad enrolled in the Army for World War II in exchange for his medical training and med school. He trained in tanks in Texas and was supposed to be shipped out to the tank division that was being sent to Morocco, but the war had ended, so he never had to go. While he was stationed in Alabama, he met my mom, who is a biologist chemist who was working at the base.
Did he go to college, and if so, where did he go, and what topics did he earn, and why did he go to those colleges?
Well, after the Army, my dad went to the University of Wisconsin, then Marquette, both of which are fantastic medical schools. And after that, he went to the University of Pennsylvania with my mom and later started his medical training in OB/GYN. He later attended the University of Chicago. My mom actually had worked in infectious disease, and they both went through intense training for med school. But after they went to the University of Chicago and they finished their med school and residency together. After that, my dad and mom moved back to Milwaukee, and he started his private practice at Columbia Hospital. My grandfather built a house for them in Whitefish Bay.
What significant events happened in his 20s and 30s?
Well, during World War II and the Korean War, those were obviously big events that happened to my dad while he was in his 20s and 30s. And the Depression was a very big event. The Army was also something huge. Once he was finished with the Army and all his medical training, he worked as an OB/GYN and had his private practice there.
Did he have any children, and if so, how many, and significant events from those experiences?
Well, my dad and mom adopted myself and my sister back in 1963 and 1965, and they did that because in my dad's private practice, he saw so many children come into this world who were unwanted. So that's why they decided to adopt.
Where did he settle to make his home, and how long have you lived where they were, and were there any significant stories from those experiences?
Well, my parents stayed in their home in Whitefish Bay that my grandfather had built for almost 30 years. Once he quit his private practice, he became the director of the health department, the health services for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Once he retired from there, it was kind of cool because they had an event for him and recognized him and put a plaque at the college with his name on it. And while there, my dad had brought in many psychologists and sports medicine, social workers, etc. to the university. My dad and mom traveled quite a bit, but eventually in 1996 they moved to Boise, Idaho.
Do you have any advice for the youth today that my papa would want?
Well, I think my dad would share that education is super important. He instilled that in me, and going to college was never an option. It was just something you do after high school. It was just part of life. So I guess my dad would say, stay dedicated and work hard in school, and you eventually will, should get the life that you deserve by working hard, because nothing is free. So you really have to work hard to provide for yourself and your family.
All right, thank you. He clearly had a very important life. And yeah.